Okay, as usual, I'm your soul brother Talib, coming at you, and I just wanted to say that I'm just making another redo of a video that was done earlier by our brother Angel Snup Snup 7 of Reality Temple Ministries, and it's a redo because I'm just, not exactly putting it in the same exact context, but I'm just doing another one basically behind him on the subject of black depopulation, which he done earlier on his channel, dealing with the so-called narrative, that the so-called pro-black conscious community keep putting out there, you know, on air and in social media, saying that you know black America is facing a depopulation crisis. Well, of course, in that video, hard questions was presented, and and I had my say about it in the comment section while the video was going on, and supported the truth of what the brother was speaking in that video. And I just told him that we both agreed, of course, that I would do another one right behind him to just clarify some more stuff about this so-called black depopulation narrative that those in the pro-black conscious community keep on feeding, those in the masses with, in terms of lies in deception that, is supposed to be a situation called black depopulation crisis going on here in America. And I just want to say this, adding on to what he was saying, basically, of course, that when you think about the population, and like the brother was saying, basically, why are so many black babies born in America every day? Why is the so-called black American or African American population increasing every day by the thousands and the millions? I mean, come on. 10 years ago, we had 30-some projected million. Now it's 44 plus projected million of us here in this country. And next thing you know, the next 10 years from now, it's going to be 50-some million or 60 million of us. So, I mean, when you think about it, at the end of the day, when you look at it from that angle, as a fact of finding a check situation, black depopulation don't exist in America. But I can say that, in fact, if you want to consider on telling people that there's a black depopulation crisis going on anywhere in the earth, well, I suggest you look over to the continent of Africa and consider. In fact, if that's the place where a lot of black depopulation is taking place at, because of the political turmoil, for one thing, that's constantly going on in 50-some countries all throughout that continent. And then the religious persecutions and wars and tribalism wars that's constantly continuing. And then not to mention the fact that because of the Europeans' influence that's still going on over there in the continent, and the Asians' influence that's economically and socially taking place now over there, where you got populations in those African countries dying off at very large numbers, even in the millions, over diamonds and gold and all that, just so that the Asians and Europeans, of course, as well as the American Caucasians, could keep profiting off the misery of those that are natives over there in that continent. And, of course, then their own governments, who are, oppressing them and running dictatorships and monarchies, regimes over there and stuff, and killing off their populations, by a large number, like I said, in the thousands, going up into the millions, and stuff like that, which is caused as well as through starvation and other torturous means of oppression that, mankind could think of, that's going on over there in the continent. And, I just want to just throw that out there, that if you want to say that black depopulation once again is taking place anywhere in the earth, then Africa is definitely the place to look to. And not just Africa, but even in the Caribbean, where you got other dark-skinned people with woolly hair existing in countries that are governed by other dark-skinned groups of people like Haiti, Jamaica, and you know what I'm saying, Guyana, and the list goes on, where you see, governments oppressing their own people, and stuff, by even trying to appease to their former European colonists. So they use that as one tactic to do so, by oppressing their own people and stuff, and which is causing their people to flee those lands to come to places like here in America, or to flee to the continent of Europe itself, you see. So, like I said before, that's where you want to look to if you want to get on with the subject of black depopulation, because there are many angles, like, Brother Talik, which his video speaks for itself, spoke about, that proves that, in fact, black depopulation is just a myth, as far as existing in America. Okay, but when you got black governments, like I said, in African countries, which I could name definitely off the back, just right off the top, like the Congo Republic, even South Africa, or, Somali, Ethiopia, Eritrea, which is right next door to Ethiopia, in that eastern part of the continent of Africa, Nigeria, I mean, Uganda, where we know about the infamous Idi Amin, who ruled, that country under the iron fist of a dictatorship. Rwanda, where you saw millions upon millions of dark-skinned people dying over religious differences and tribalism differences, and then, also, you talking about the country of, which is a former Portuguese colony, Angola, which has been fighting it out for years, where millions and millions of people have been dying, for the sake of someone else from outside of that nation, and as well as that continent, being able to profit off of other humanity's misery. So, like I said before, that sounds more like a black depopulating situation going on. Then you look at what's going on in the Caribbean country of Haiti, which is supposed to be the first black republic in the Western Hemisphere, which became the first so-called black independent country in the Western Hemisphere when Toussaint Louverture overthrew the French colonialists through means of warfare to obtain black independence in that country, you know. And then you got other black Caribbean countries who did not get their so-called independence through the exact same measure, like Jamaica, Trinidad, the Bahamas. I mean, you know what I'm saying, where the government is oppressing their own citizens, and where there's a lack of opportunity and and stuff like that, which is why they flee them countries to come, like I say, to places like here in America, you know. But why they got to flee, you know what I'm saying, their own countries, because they can't get it together in their own countries in these different parts of the world that I just mentioned, and then, but yet you steadily keep saying it's black depopulation crisis going on here in America, which, like I said, that video that was made earlier by Brother Talik, and you could go to his channel on Reality Temple Ministries to check it out, which speaks for itself, but I just wanted to make a counterpart video about this, dealing with Africa and the Caribbean, where blacks are more populated at, far as even in government and stuff like that, And I mean, them people in those parts of the world is catching hell every day. Some of them countries you can't even eat. It's not enough food to go around, not enough drinking water. I mean, massive diseases going on, spreading like wildfire everywhere. Government starving their own populations, because they don't believe in their ideologies or religion or whatever the case may be, and stuff like that. So, that sounds, like I said, like depopulation, black depopulation, of course. That would sound like somebody, like a ethnic cleansing, depopulating crisis. Like with the dark skin, the Sudanese over in South Sudan being oppressed by the Arab northern part of Sudan for numbers of years, and stuff like that, with them populations being either wiped out through hunger, war, or slavery and whatnot, So like I said before, when you want to consider on black depopulating in any country, we got to look at the dynamics and what do you mean by black depopulation? Because, basically, like brother said earlier, here in America, you got more black millionaires than any country in the world. Black wealthy people, whether they millionaires or billionaires, or, you got blacks in the sports and entertainment industry, even some in corporate America making millions upon millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Other blacks make doing other lesser menial jobs, making thousands or tens of thousands a year. Black people that's having all these babies, being enabled with help from the government through welfare and all this other stuff. So how are they being depopulated? I mean, it seems like we have it more, according to resources, a better chance of survival than any other part of the world when it comes to black people anywhere on the face of this planet Earth, okay, far as America is concerned. So how can anything called black depopulation exists in this country. I just can't, see that. And, I even used to, when people used to refute that, or if I ever heard somebody refute that, when I was under that pro-black conscious frame of mind myself at one time or another, I ignored that questioning too, as in fact, how is it black depopulation that exists in America? So, once again, like I said before, you know, I could call off a lot of things going on. Look at Boko Haram in Nigeria, all the savagery they've done in that West African country, and that's still going on right now, which is being unresolved, of course. You know, a lot of killings still going on in Somalia after being over 30 years going to war as a country, with an unstabilized government. You know, I mean, then even in South Africa, in the so-called post-apartheid era, where you got a lot of instability going on at, because of the government's oppression of their own, citizens. And then, you even with Zimbabwe, I think which was supposed to have been one of the very last countries to gain their independence from their European colonists. But look what happened to that situation and see how things panned out in Zimbabwe, with the corrupt leadership they had over there and still got going on over there right now, and stuff. So, I mean, these are things you want to look at, and people getting killed because they're standing up to them governments over there, like in Zimbabwe and South Africa and Somalia and Eritrea, and they're standing up to them governments over there and stuff, and they're not budging, they standing up and willing to fight and die for what they believe in, for a better future for themselves and their families and stuff, against corruption and oppression, you see, but yet they steadily dying off, not only in the thousands, but like I said, in the millions, people being starved, you know. I mean, we could go back to Haile Selassie of Ethiopia, who starved millions of his people. But this same man is still being revered by, black people in the Caribbean and over here in America as some type of god in a religion called Rastafarianism, But he oppressed millions and starved millions of his people, you see. So, I mean, if you want to talk about, and that country still hasn't fully recovered from that, by the way, by that impact of devastating oppression of that population in that country. So, like I said before, we need to really look at that. We really need to look at that and see where, in fact, does black depopulation exist at? Does it exist under the cloak and rule of the white man, or does it exist, in fact, under the black man? We got to really be real about this. And stop playing games with each other. Stop playing games with yourself, you know. Stop playing games, Stop thinking that this is some type of kind of gimmick you could use to capitalize off of people so that you can enhance your agenda, for whatever personal gain it may be for, and start just telling the truth like it is. I mean, really, the truth of the matter is that black depopulation, as the brother said it earlier in his own words, and as I'm saying, it does not exist in America. But I've shown you how also exists more in Africa than it does here in America, basically, you see. So, and I'm talking about up under black government rulerships, not up under no direct white government, but under black governments that's supposed to be ruling in these nations. Do you find more that black depopulation exists than it does in a white ruling governed country like America? You see, so like I said before, we have to really look at this and see this for exactly for what it is. We cannot be playing. This is serious. This is very serious. This is a serious topic because there are questions that need to be, brought to these pro-black conscious leaders as well as personalities, as well as personality seekers. It needs to be brought to their attention. In fact, how does black depopulation exist in America when there's no clear indication to show and prove that it does? You see? And then on top of that, you have black people, like I say, in other governed countries where there's a population of nothing but black people that kill each other every day over different belief systems and tribalism and even that deals with discrimination because of different ethnicity, cultures, and languages that's opposing to the other. You see? See, no one wants to talk about that when they want to discuss black depopulation anywhere on the planet Earth. But see, all that exists, as we find, especially on the continent of Africa. You see? And as I've shown you, and like the brother has shown you before, that black depopulation is very far away from existing in America. I want to mention something too early. If black depopulation existed, ask your black conscious rappers like Common Sense, Nas, Chuck D, Public Enemy, and so forth on. Do they really believe that black depopulation exists in America after all the millions they've made being able to live rich and wealthy in America? Huh? Ask them. You see, ask somebody like Louis Farrakhan. Does he truly believe that black depopulation exists since he's able to live wealthy and good, just like his family, at his expense here in America, in the suburbs of Chicago, and not on the south side of Chicago? You see? I mean, see, these questions have to be not only asked, but answered in a very strong confrontational way. And usually I'm not a person that get caught up in confrontation like that, especially on social media. But questions like this need to be pointed out straight forth and directly. Because many people are being misled to believe this crap that black depopulation or what they call a black depopulation crisis exists in America when that's not in fact the case. As I said before, basically, So, like I said, we need to understand and realize this, that over in Africa, we could see that more happening than definitely here in America. It's too much resources here in America. First of all, and then the government is not stopping black people, whether it's due to the Civil Rights Act or whatever. They're not stopping black people from achieving these certain types of opportunities that counteracts the myth that black depopulation exists in America. And if anyone, once the video is done, got something to say about that in the comment section, I will be gladly willing to address that once I'm done doing this video and once it's posted, on my channel. But like I said, in Africa, you could see it more happening over there, as far as the crisis that's taking place over there. Where people are being, like I say, ostracized, oppressed, persecuted because of religious beliefs. You don't see that happening to black people in America, especially as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America. You don't see that happening where they're being oppressed because they want to be a Christian or a Muslim or whatever religion they choose to believe in, or because they choose to belong to even a certain other type of organization. You don't see nothing. You don't see nothing stopping them from doing that. You don't see them, even the ones that get here on social media and want to talk that pro-black so-called extremist stuff, that pro-black conscious extremist stuff, which they can by law be prosecuted for if the government of this country really wanted to press the issue about that. You want to know what black depopulation is like. So many black people locked up in jails and prisons across this country, and projectedly in the number of over 2 million something. How come they took the measures to wipe them out? For whatever reason the case may be. Because if they want to do that, they'd have been done it. And then you could start saying black depopulation exists, especially when you start seeing thousands upon thousands of us dying by the day, or millions of us dying by the day. You see, under the orders of the government and establishment of this country. You see? So I'm not finna sit up here and accept anyone from the conscious community that insists that black depopulation exists in this country. Because you have no concrete evidence to prove that. It does. And like I said before, like I said, you got all these celebrities making millions of dollars. What country, even over in Africa, name me any country, even in the continent of Black Africa, as they call it, or in the Caribbean, where there's an overmajority of black populated groups at, where they got their own country, where they're nothing but millionaires. There's more poverty in them countries than anything else. So they got to come to America to become what they want to become, or go to Europe to become what they want to become, because they can't become that in their countries where they're from originally, you see. But you got more black millionaires in this country than anywhere else in the planet. So tell me, how is that black depopulation? When all you got to do, like I said earlier in the video, is look over to Africa. When you want to touch on a subject like that. Now, if you start talking more about Africa, where that stuff really do exist at, then we could talk now. When you want to talk about black depopulation, we could really talk. You see, we could talk now if you want to talk about that. Because, where, falsehood exists at, as they say in religion, truth must come in and wipe it out. Or as they say in religion, truth will overcome falsehood. And in this case, truth uh, does nothing but prevail. In this case, because it's more evidence that this subject is prevalent to exist in the continent in any other part of the world where it's black people at than it is in America. You don't see thousands upon thousands or millions of blacks being hauled off yet, not at least yet, to concentration camps and mass graves like what happened in Nazi Germany to the Jews. Do you? See, if you want to talk about black depopulation, and don't go to talking about Planned Parenthood, okay? Far as where, you got black women running to them Planned Parenthood offices having abortions. That's a free choice. Ain't nobody putting no pistol up to their head saying that's what they got to do. That's a free choice. That's their own freedom of choice of what they're doing. Like any other woman that want to have an abortion in this country, okay? That's a freedom of choice according to their own laws. Ain't nobody forcing nobody to have no abortion. So that ain't got nothing to do with black depopulation either, as of that matter, So, like I said before, when they start forcing you by the double barrel of the gun to do something that you don't want to do or that you even want to do or whatever, then we could start talking that black depopulation talk. Until then, that's not existing in America. That don't even exist in America. And you can't show me in any kind of way that it does. Like I said before, because if it did exist, we'll see millions of black people disintegrating right now from existence in this country. Just like you got these, idiotic pro-black conscious ones saying that the coronavirus is what's going to wipe out black people. First you turn around and say it's going to wipe out the Caucasian population or the older groups among the Caucasian population. Then you turn around and say it's going to wipe out black people through what you call a divine plague, okay? Come on, make up your mind. Which one is it going to be? Is it either going to be the Caucasians or the blacks that this virus is supposed to cause the total annihilation of, okay? See, you ain't making no sense again when you make these frivolous claims, you see? So, like I said before, you're confused, and then on top of that, you don't, you basically just trying to conjure something up just to keep your personal agenda going. And that's basically all that boils down to it. So like Brother Eric Muhammad say, you could keep getting paid and laid. And that's what that all boils down to, which you just trying to, capitalize and profit off the ignorance of others so you could get paid and laid. And that's what that's exactly all about. So like I said before, we need to understand and realize that we need to stop playing games with each other. And we need to stop playing games with each other's intelligence and start being real and start having real, sensible conversations, even on topics like this called black depopulation. If you really want a solution, start first by not telling lies and telling the truth for what it is, you know? Because if you really wanted a solution to your people's ignorance and the fact that our people suffer because of a lack of knowledge, like you say in religion, then you wouldn't be telling all these deceptional lies to feed your own, agenda, personal agenda, because that's all you doing, like I said. And it's our job from this platform to address that, you know, and because those of you that are profiting off the ignorance of your people ain't no different from the racists. Matter of fact, most of you are worse than the racists. And if your skin was different than dark skin, if your skin was more paler like the races is, you'll probably be a member of some type of white supremacist group. I could see that, because most of you have that same thinking. Anyway, which is called chocolate covered racism, as someone else would say. You know, you ain't no different from your own racist oppressor. You know, so like I said before, you need to just wake up and realize that an end got to come to this, because you have people like us from this platform that's going to challenge your so-called thesis and what you're doing to deceive the rest of the masses of the people. We not going to stand by and keep letting it happen. And that's one reason I decided to make this video, to help clear this stuff up about black depopulation existing in America, which again is not true. And like I said before, if you want to look at that factor existing among any other dark-skinned group of people, I say it's best to look over to the continent called Africa, as well as the Caribbean, and then the other place where there's other dark-skinned people at, like in the South Asian Pacific, like in countries like New Guinea, where there's massive dark-skinned black populations being wiped out through what they call ethnic cleansing and all that crap, So, like I said before, I just wanted to, use this little rant to clear up, this quick rant to just clear up some of that stuff behind also the truth that the brother spoke earlier in his own video. I just wanted to speak behind that just to help to clear up more of some of this falsehood about so-called black depopulation in America existing. And with that said, I'm Aldi 5000. And I wanted to say too that before I officially end this video, that coronavirus stuff, I just wanted to add something to that too, It's people, especially even in the black conscious community, once again, that's coming with this myth about this is supposed to be some divine plague and all this other crazy stuff that's supposed to wipe out Babylon and this and that. And, just to reiterate what the brother was saying about that earlier, basically what we had a conversation about, was that, what he spoke about that in the video too, about that, well, basically, like I even spoke on it in the comment section, I was like, look, you eating Babylonian food, you consuming Babylonian drugs and alcohol, and every other, delicacy that Babylon got to offer. So whatever happens to us, here in Babylon, whatever happens to Babylon is going to happen to us because we're part of this society. Okay? Just like we was a part of this society as slaves for over 300 years, we're still a part of this society. And whatever goes on in this society, it goes on with us too, okay? So you're not going to be exempt from whatever happens. And let's say if the coronavirus was to wipe out certain groups of people, it's going to include us too. It's going to include us all. But we know that the truth of the matter about this coronavirus is that it's not as deadly as people think it is, or even trying to make it out to be, okay? Which the brother also spoke about in the video, okay? So, like I said, with this pandemic massive scare that, even the rest of the so-called social media and other mainstream sources of the media is trying to paint a false picture of with this coronavirus pandemic that's going on, is questions that could be presented far as that's concerned too, which that's for another time and another day. But I just wanted to just throw that out there, okay? So, like I said before, you know, we need to really get serious about these conspiracy theories and false myths that's being put out there to deceive the masses, through fear mongering and all this other, mass deception that's making people so, scared, you know. I mean, and like I want to point out, like someone else said, if it ain't the coronavirus, it's going to be something else that's going to eventually take humanity out the picture, because humanity is not good. It's not even good for the rest of the other animal species on this planet Earth, or nothing else concerning this planet's natural origin or foundation. We not good for nothing, especially we not good for ourselves and each other. So if anything was to happen, the whole entire human population, that includes myself, could be wiped out, which I wouldn't give a damn. It wouldn't make me no difference. And I'm being dead serious about that. Because of so much of what humanity has done to corrupt this planet Earth anyway, maybe it's best that some of us go on and just die off anyway. Well, we all should anyway. It really don't matter. Maybe this planet needs a new replenishing. Once again, maybe it needs to be replenished of its whole entire human existence, because it ain't been nothing but just chaos on this planet. And like somebody else would say, even if it is good people on this planet, they need to go too, because they ain't doing nothing but producing other wicked type of human beings. So what sense do it make for them to be here? And like I said before, I'm closing out, but I just want to throw that extra added stuff out there, just for y'all to have something to think about. So with that said, once again, I'm Aldi 5000 and peace.